So I've started to work on the back of the car now. Not sure if I showed this in the last video, but this is all tacked in place. Got it all lined up, so got a few tacks there, one on the top, and the front ones I angled in. The back ones are straight up and down. I angled the front ones just so it doesn't move side to side. But I've got the wood support that was there out, and now it's secure. So this is welded to the table, and then this is welded to this little fixture here. So that's sturdy now. It's all centered. And I did the same as I did at the front. I just put a brace across there to hold these at the right distance out so that the weight of this sitting on it didn't pinch the top in and roll the frame rails over. So then I started figuring out how I was going to attach the old 2x3 section that I had. I used to have a different setup in here, one that I built myself. But when I bought this kit from Gordy over at Night Restorations, I really only needed the front, but I bought the back. I felt a little more comfortable that his geometry was going to be correct since everything was cut by machine, and a little more consistency. So I just cut what I did out here, and now I need to graft this into here, and I think I've come up with a good solution. So here's the pieces I have cut. I made a little template just for the angle that I wanted. So this will be, so this is the rail for the driver's side. And then this, so this will go on there like that. I'll put this on the plate that I have that's flat and weld this together. So I'll tack that, and I'll tack this one together, and then I'll sit it back in the car and show you how that goes. Okay, now I have the first sections clamped down to this plate, which is ground flat. So I've lined the top up with this edge and clamped this piece in, and then I've put, so it's a little out of focus, I've put the second piece that's coming down at the angle that I need, and I've clamped that. So everything is clamped tight to this table. Then I put a Sharpie line across here, down this edge, and down this edge. I'll tack this in place, allow it to cool. Then I'll put the other side down here, and I can line it up with those Sharpie lines, clamp it down, and then tack it in place also. So at least I know that, that they're going to be the same. Okay, got some tacks on there now. This corner here as well. Sorry, it's a hard shot to get. So I'm going to let that cool for 10 or 15 minutes, and then I'll put the other one down on here. In the back of the car here, I've got the frame rails set in place, just as a mock-up. So that's how they sit in there, in those pockets that are cut out for them. That goes down, you can see better on this one, that goes down past the 2x3 that I had installed previously. So that'll get clamped in, those will get welded together there. And then on the outside here, I'm going to do a plate that continues across here. I haven't worked it out exactly, but it'll continue across here, come up this the side of this frame rail and then tuck in and weld to the side support here. Show you from below. So it will attach this directly to this side piece, which is what all the suspension and the subframe are bolted to. So that'll help a lot. Also, I just left this long. So I'm gonna put some epoxy weld through primer on these. I'm gonna take them out and clean them all up. And then I'll scribe this line here. So those are cut off flush at the bottom. And then that'll just get capped in and welded along here. I think it'll be strong. And then again, this, like the front, this rail is tying in very close. Well, this one's tying in directly where the subframe mounts, and then it's welded. It's welded to this section, and it'll be gusseted right in, which is, you know, a good, I'd call it 9 inches above here. So that's a good strong section there. Considering the original car, that was how thick the rails were. That's the old original stamped rail that I just cut off. But that was the structure. Now I know I'm putting a lot more suspension loading in and a lot more horsepower through it, but I think this will be sufficient. I think it'll look good too. Got a coat of the weld through primer. I called it epoxy weld through. It's actually zinc. It's a high zinc weld through. So I think they turned out well. So I'll let that dry. Then I'll put them in, scribe the line for here, and I think I'll tack on the mounts for the upper control arms that come through these pockets here. So I've got to put the rail in place, slip those in, clamp it in nice and tight with a couple of bolts through the control arms here, make sure everything's lined up, and get a tack on the rail. And then I can take those out. I think I'll run a bead around the back of those just to secure it to here, because the main weld that holds these in place is going to be done around the front here, and I'll have a welder do that. I'm not going to do that myself.